Want help to grow your business? Download Bryn, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit bryn.ai or search the App Store today.
Hi, my name is Pip McKay and welcome to NLP for Business, where we look at the mindset and the communication tools for business success and personal well-being. And today we've got a fantastic topic. It's called How to Think Outside of the Box and Problem Solve Laterally. Now, I'm sure that you've all heard of the concept of thinking outside the box. It's the ability to come up with new or unusual solutions. And most people don't do this. What most people do is they get stuck in the problem and then they justify all of the reasons why the problem can't be solved. Perhaps you know people like this or even have some people on your team like this. But the problem with that is that things don't change, so they don't move forward and we don't find solutions. So what we want to be able to do instead is to laterally problem solve. So people who do this have the ability to come up with a lot of different ideas. And they know that not all those ideas are going to work, but these ideas shift their thinking and their mindset from problem focus to solution focus. And this makes it so much easier to come up with new solutions. So traditionally, a lot of people thought that people who can laterally think outside the box and all of that sort of thing, that was something that you were born with. But in actual fact, it is a skill, and it's a skill that can be learnt. And it's a fantastic skill for businesses to have, because that way you can stay ahead of the competition, you can solve the problems that always come up in businesses, and you can make that a fun challenge that everybody can be involved in. And this allows your business to survive in tough times and to thrive in good times. So once upon a time, people thought that creativity was kind of like a luxury that you did when you retired or in your spare time, as if you've ever got any. But now we know that creativity is an adaptation process and that this is going to be essential in your business. So for me personally, what I found was that I was someone who could come up with lots of ideas. I was a very creative person. So in my business, it was very easy to come up with new ideas, easy to think outside of the box. But the problem was that I had no way of really analysing which of my ideas were better than others. And so I would just kind of get started and just jump straight in. And sometimes that was great, and I came up with lots of really great ideas, and sometimes it wasn't so good, and then I'd have to kind of clean up the mess later. What I found in my coaching business was a lot of business owners had the opposite problem. What they would find was that they couldn't come up with new ideas. They didn't know how to stimulate problem solving. And so they kind of got stuck. And that was okay when our world was moving a lot more slowly. But now with a lot of innovation happening with your competition, it's really important that you can come up with an idea. And that's what's so wonderful about this NLP topic. So it's actually called the hierarchy of ideas. And what it allows you to do is it gives you 3 questions, a series of 3 questions that show you how to think outside of the box, how to think laterally for problem solving, how to access the big picture and vision, how to make sure details that you might get caught up in are relevant to the big picture, and finally, how to overcome overwhelm. So unlike, maybe some of Edward de Bono's work, which was amazing for lateral thinking in 1967, we're really just looking at 3 simple questions. So I don't know if you've ever done any of de Bono's work. There's a lot of wonderful work there, but sometimes it's not really specific. You're kind of quite abstract in the ideas. But with this, you get 3 questions that are going to guarantee that you can think outside of the box and problem solve, and as well as that, have the ability to analyse your creative ideas and see which ones to back and spend your time and money on. So let's start with the first question. So the first question is what we call a chunking up question. So it's a question that allows us to get ideas, get vision, get purpose. It allows us to think more abstractly. So if you find that you're getting a little bit caught up in the details and you need to remind yourself of the big picture, then this is a way of doing it. Or if you've got a speech to give or you want to inspire your team on what is the vision of the company, this is a fantastic way of doing it. And it's a really simple question. It's one of my all-time favorite questions. So it starts off with, what is the purpose of? Or if you prefer, you can use the question, what is the intention of? So let's have a look at how this might work in real life. So here's a question, this same question with the example. So I love the question, what's the purpose of? So what is the purpose of introducing this new product? So say you've got a team and they're kind of like, oh, you know, we've been working so hard. I don't really want to start a new product. And you want to inspire them to move forward. Or you maybe need to convince the banker, or you need to convince your accountant or the bookkeepers that it's time to create a new product. So you might ask yourself, well, what's the purpose of this new product? Or you might even ask your team, what's the purpose of this new product? And the answer to that question might be to gain more market share. And then it's like, well, what's the purpose of gaining more market share? And it may be to stay competitive, to sell a new product to old customers, to diversify your appeal. So these may be the answers to this. And this might be really important because, say, your competition has just released a new product. Well, if for you to stay competitive, you need to launch one too. Or perhaps you need to now increase sales. So you've got a market base that is saturated, but you don't want to go through the process of getting new customers. So it might be to sell a new product to old customers will certainly increase your revenue. Or it might be to diversify your appeal. So maybe your product or service has had a great appeal to baby boomers, and now you'd like to make that appeal to, say, Gen Y. And you'd like to increase your appeal and diversify that to a new market. Then you might go, so what is the purpose of staying competitive? This first one up here. And it might be another company has a greater market share and is becoming more well-known, and you have lost customers to them. Now, this may be very, very motivational for your sales team. It's like, you know, this isn't just about us suddenly becoming creative and the creative team just losing their mind and going off on a tangent. This is actually about solving one of the problems that the salespeople are facing, and that is every time they pick up the phone and speak to someone, they're talking about a different company that they've already bought from. So this would be very motivational for those people. Or it may be to your bookkeeper or to your accountant saying, well, we're actually losing market share, so this has actually cost us $1 million in the last year. Well, then it's okay. It may cost you $500,000 to invest in a new product, but it's worth it because you're losing $1 million every year because of the lost market share, and that this could end up with the company becoming bankrupt. So when you work with accountants or bookkeepers, they're often what we call away from motivated. So that means that they are motivated by seeing what is the negative thing they need to avoid. When you're working with salespeople, there might be a little bit of away from motivation, but for them, a lot of it is towards motivation. We're going to increase our market share. That means our company is becoming bigger. It's going to have a greater reputation. So as you're looking through what is the purpose of something, you might look at what is the purpose we want to move away from, the negative purpose, and then also what is the purpose we want to move towards. And for different people will be motivated by different things. But how amazing, just one question is allowing you to find this out. And of course, you can go higher than this. So what is the purpose of becoming more well-known? Well, it might be to become the world leader in this industry. And what's the purpose of becoming a world leader in this industry? Because you have the best product, and your product might even save people's lives. So that might be something that is part of the bigger vision. So that when people are looking at their day-to-day tasks and their task list, they know that every little task that they do successfully is leading to saving people's lives because they've got the right medication, or it may be to enhancing people's well-being and happiness. If if you've got that type of product or service. Or it may be just simply making sure that business owners aren't frustrated by an inferior product and are investing their time and energy in a superior product. So it just depends. But this is a tremendous exercise for you as a business owner. Just ask yourself, what is the purpose of your business? And yes, part of the purpose of your business is definitely going to be making money and for you to be having a fantastic lifestyle and sending your kids to whatever schools you want them to and having lovely holidays and all of that. So there's that purpose, of course. We want your personal purpose. But what is just the purpose of your product? What does it do? What does it give people? What is the benefit of it to others? And then when you get that, and that might be the one that you've already thought of in the past, ask yourself the question again, what's the purpose of that? And what's the purpose of that? And what are all the different purposes of your business? Because different purposes will appeal to different people. And it also helps with your marketing because it helps you understand what sort of purpose to communicate to your audience and for your brand. Okay, so let's look at question 2 now. This question we call chunking down, and it allows us to have relevant detail, to get to the concrete, to make plans, to actually know exactly what to do, to have a to-do list, but not just any to-do list, a to-do list that takes your company in the direction of your vision. And sometimes there's a separation. Sometimes people have got a to-do list of everything they need to do. Some people have a to-do list of everything they think they can get out of the way as quickly as possible. Some people have a to-do list which is just too big picture and they don't know what specific tasks to do. So in this process, we're finding a to-do list that is linked exactly to your vision and to your mission of your company and ensures that everyone in your company is doing something relevant to that final vision. So let's look at this question. It's so simple. You just ask yourself, what specifically? Whom specifically? What are specific examples of that? So let's have a look at these questions in real life. So what specific product will give us a competitive advantage? So you need a competitive advantage. What specific products will give that to you? What is the competition doing? What is the competition doing compared to what you're doing? What could you do instead? Do you want to not compete in that market because they've got it sewn up? Do you want to just create something totally different? So what specific product would give us a competitive advantage? And coming up with a range that you can choose from. Then what is the most profitable target market? So maybe doing some market research and seeing, well, who's got the money to spend on your product or your service. So it may be that you've generally been working with small business owners, but there might be a product or a service.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download Bryn, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit bryn.ai or search the App Store today.